Move it down. Move it down, 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 down. Move it down. Move it down. Move it down. Move it down, 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 down. Move it down. Move it down. Move it down. Move it down, down, down. Move it down. Move it down.
Hey, what is up, everybody? Welcome again to the Music Producer's Treasure Box. This is your host, FERMI, and you are tuning in today to a very special episode with the SoundOff Music app creator, Morris. He is going to come on here and lay down exactly what is going on with this new music app that has come out onto the scene, and I urge everybody to go check it out. The SoundOff Music app team reached out to me on Instagram, and, I was quick to get them on the show. I know a lot of people out there are, excited about Instagram, but let's be honest, ever since that little from Facebook emblem at the bottom down there came on, funny stuff has been happening. You get the idea that they might want you to pay to play. Pay for that exposure and to stand out on the algorithm. With the SoundOff Music app, this is going to be a different way of getting your music out there and getting heard. What this app is a head-to-head battle between musical artists to upload their songs to the platform. It's really exciting because you know that everybody voting on this platform is an engaged audience member who loves music and is actually listening to what you're putting out there, unlike what you might find on social media with a lot of bots, a lot of followers who really aren't that engaged or interested. Look, this is something futuristic, and one of the founders is on our show today to talk about how he put together this app and give it some tips for how artists can stand out, not only on the app, but in general. Let's go. Today, this is going to be a little bit different for my show. Normally, I have artists on there. Sure. I have had some publicists, some, engineers, what else? A marketer. But we haven't had an app company or an app creator. So I'm super excited to delve into that. That's why when you reached out, I was like, yeah, man, let's do this. I looked at the page real quick and I was like, this looks awesome. So we gotta dive into this.
Oh, thank you, man. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'll let you, if there's any specifics you want to cover, or, there's things that you want me to cover based on your fan base, I'm happy to do that.
Cool. Yeah, I'd love you to just break down kind of what the app does. I looked it up a little bit. Looks like it's the Hunger Games of music for the underground independent artists.
Yeah, no, that's a beautiful way to put it. That definitely, we're like a music contest platform. So what happens is we want to be the premier place where every time you think music contest, right, you're going to go on to SoundOff. There will always be music contests 24/7 in every single genre. And right now we've kicked off with these two contests. And really our goal right now, the general premise of the prizes is you're going to get to open for a famous musician in every contest. When we were beta testing our app, we had a bunch of artists submit hip hop, rap, R&B, artists specifically, and the winner ended up being this artist from Queens, an R&B singer, and he got to open a show for Akon and Pitbull in Jersey City on the 4th of July. So we, once we saw that and we kind of saw someone go from the platform, someone that didn't have this type of access, but we saw them go from the platform to that live event and saw them absolutely kill the live event. It really gave us confidence in the artist that we were dealing with and confidence that we could take someone from the app to these events. And ever since then, now we've launched the app about a week and a half ago now on the App Store.
Yeah.
So it's available to anybody with an iPhone. And then for people without iPhones, we are happy to go and create their profiles if they give us, their songs and their photos and their links. And right now for DJs, we have a special contest called the Runway Contest, where you can open during New York Fashion Week at the Public Arts Club on February 12th for a famous mystery celebrity DJ.
Nice. I love that.
Yeah. So that's one of our contests. And the other one is just winning a general performance at the Public Arts Club, which is a really exclusive venue in Manhattan. So we'll fly you out, we'll make it a really nice experience. And then not just that, I think the unique thing about our app is we also reward fans. So as a listener, as a voter, we are interested in rewarding those that have the best ear for music. So if you can predict what gets big before it gets big, artists that, people that know good music really before it gets big, we will reward you. So the winners for both of these contests win a chance to also get flown out and get a VIP experience for two, bring a friend, and get to see the artist that they voted for live.
That's awesome. Wow. So, I mean, it seems really interactive from the standpoint, obviously, of the musicians, which I think is what my audience is. But even just from music fans, I think all musicians are music fans, but people that don't create music, just the fans of music, they get rewarded as well. And as you're saying it, it's like I'm thinking, people are the new A&Rs for record labels, right? Or you're training some.
I couldn't have said it better. Yeah, exactly.
So you're rewarding them for their keen ears.
As this app scales, we think just seeing the trend of artists becoming more and more independent and the lack of A&R from a label standpoint to identify talent in some ways, just because there's just so much content on the internet now and with streaming, it really makes the people king. Right? The people deciding what is best really ends up being a great predictor of what is. And out of every contest, we hope that a hit song and a really great artist emerges that people can follow, that people can take pride in. But that's exactly right. I mean, as you vote in contests, as a music listener or as an artist, your score goes up. So you're basically being scored, and eventually we'll do things like contest open to, only fans of a certain score, so you have to build up your score and for contests that are higher stakes, let's say it's like a celebrity musicians contest and they want to find an opener for themselves, that they might open it only to people with like a fan score of 1,000 or, a listening score of 1,000, et cetera. So artists are obviously scored too. And I think the really nice thing about what we do is if you upload your music to like a Spotify or a SoundCloud, right? You don't really, all you see really is the likes unless you're paying for a profile. Ours is totally free, by the way, to submit the contest and everything. Nice. But you're only really seeing the likes and you don't really know at what point you're going to receive feedback, right? You're just checking and saying like, okay, I got one more listen today. But the nice thing about our app is it's very transparent in when you're going to be receiving feedback. If you submit to a contest, right, that after round one is over, we're going to tell you how many people listened to your song in round one, how many people liked your song in round one. Same thing for when round two starts. So there's very finite points of feedback for an artist, which we think is really nice, that transparency of knowing at the end of the contest, I'm going to be able to see how many more people listened to my song, how many people clicked on the links in my profile to go to my Spotify, how many, and they know that happens in 2 hours when round one ends.
100%.
So it's very transparent. You have a lot more control as an artist. And there's a lot more points where you'll be wanting to check the app and just see kind of what your stats are. There's finite points where when to do that, as opposed to kind of going in blind, putting your stuff on SoundCloud or Spotify. And then, at the end of the day saying, my music's really good. I know it's really good, but I just don't have the likes that I want or the listens that I want.
Totally. I was going to ask you that. So with things like Instagram, SoundCloud, Spotify, you kind of get some metrics. How many listens you got, how many followers you got. In the case of Instagram and Facebook, how many likes you got. Facebook a little bit more obvious because it shows the name. Some of the Instagram does and some of it doesn't. But, as we all know, I think at this point, a lot of these social media services, they can be rigged. There's bots that can give you 1 million listens or something. There is bots that are just liking photos or commenting really obnoxious emojis on your comments all the time. But what I like about what you're talking about here, and just for my listeners, we just got right into it. I don't even know that much about the app, my man. But I'm hearing that these are true active audience members that are listening. They're getting a score. Honestly, they wouldn't even download the app if they didn't like music and truly just want to learn about upcoming artists. So every listen is probably worth, X amount of likes on social media where people are just liking, scrolling, and possibly not even a real human on the other side.
Yeah, no, definitely. That's a great point. I mean, we monitor that super actively. And the nice thing is, one of the things I forgot to mention is this app, in terms of contestants, they're only undiscovered musicians, meaning non-label musicians, right? So a lot of these are people that really are in the trenches in terms of discovery. So as a listener, if you're coming onto our app and you already know that, right, you're already a little bit more inclined to listen to that type of audience, to that type of artist. So we find that our listeners are a lot more active on the discovery front, not even just the contest voting, but when the contest is not going on, they're listening, clicking on in user profiles, clicking on Spotify links, adding artists to their favorites list. The other side of the app is really, while contests are going on, you can add people to your favorites list. There's an A list for the most listened to artists. You can click around, and we're just doing a redesign now where you can click by genre, click by your favorites list. And it's just a really, really interactive way to discover music, and kind of have that balance of in contest is sort of like voting mode, in the trenches mode, where you are competing as an artist, but you're not competing in the sense that no matter what, people are listening. And that's really the goal. Is we create this interactive place via a contest, so it's fun for the fans, so it's fun for the artist too, and it's gamified in that sense. But in the other sense, at the end of the day, because this platform is also fun to use, people are listening. And that's the ultimate goal is for you to get that feedback of what happens when people are listening. Are they liking it? How long are they listening to your song for? Those sorts of things. We want to make that accessible to artists, and we want them to have a good time on the app and know, hey, even if you don't win a contest, 100 more people listen to your song, and there's going to be another contest that you can submit to. And as we grow and as we scale and have more events, the goal is that we will be able to put a lot of these artists on stages at, exclusive events and venues that, they've always wanted to play at.
Absolutely. Well, I want to take a step back. A minute ago, I called it the Hunger Games of music apps because there is this battle element. I think you have different levels of things, including the war, and all that kind of stuff. There's like titles for these different levels of battling that you get into. Yep. Can you walk us kind of the high level? If an artist were to sign up for the app, what do they do in terms of setting up their profile and submitting into a contest? Like, what does that look like? And
for sure.
What do they do?
Absolutely. So a sign up for an artist is like a regular sign up, right? You're going to put in your email, you're going to put or sign in with Facebook, etc. Then you're going to see, this place that's like an empty profile. You want to upload a really cool image, cover art of an album you had or of a single that you had. And then you're going to be prompted to upload links. So you'll have links to your Spotify, links to your SoundCloud, links to your Instagram. And, we really encourage you to do that because these are the links, these are the links that people are clicking on when they go to your profile because they want to see your other music. They want to see your Instagram and your social media presence and be able to follow you, as well as read about you in your bio. We have artists that in their bio, some are from like the rappers from the projects in Chicago. We have people that, are from different countries and have cool upbringings. So they share a little bit about that in their profile and it makes them more interesting. Now, after you've worked on your profile, what you want to do is upload a song. So in your profile, there's an upload a song button. You can upload multiple songs. We encourage you to upload multiple songs because this allows you to be more searchable. When you're not in a contest, people are still able to search and listen to your music almost in a playlist fashion. So the more songs you have, the more people will be able to listen to your different sounds. And if they go to your profile, they'll be able to see all the music. Now, once you've uploaded a song or multiple songs, you have a page called My Contest page, right? In this, you'll be able to see the different contests that we have available. Right now, that's the Runway and the SoundOff 2020 contest. All you have to do once you've uploaded a song is hit the sign up button. It'll ask you which song you want to sign up with. You click that and it'll give you a thank you for submitting message. And that's it. You're good to go at that point.
I love it. And it seems like it is honestly, as a music lover and artist myself too, going to be a tough pick sometimes, right? I'm sure there's going to be certain face-offs where it's just like, this is the song for me. But when I think about having two songs side by side and you got to listen to at least 15 seconds of each song and then you got to choose.
Exactly.
Ooh, that sounds like some steep competition and a lot of fun.
Exactly. It's a lot of fun. Exactly. And and at the end of the day, it's formatted in a specific way because it needs to be entertaining to drive listeners there too. You know what I mean? If it's just a regular playlist, a search playlist, there's really no incentive as an undiscovered musician for people to come listen, especially when Spotify and other apps like that are really pushing the famous musicians they have, the music that they pay for, that they pay these labels for. That's what they're pushing. That's the content we're pushing. The nice thing about us is we don't have any of those incentives. We're not paying any celebrity musician to have them put their music here. We don't want them. We want your music on the platform, and we want people to be listening to artists that are not discovered, kind of the people on these platforms that their content is a little bit overlooked, because that at SoundOff, that's the content that we're absolutely obsessed with.
Got it. On a lot of these apps, social media, Spotify, same thing. There's a lot of talk about the algorithm, right? So if you are famous, if you have a flood of listens, whether they're authentic or not, you might even be able to pay in some cases, in Facebook's case, for advertising and kind of manipulate the algorithm, if you want to say it that way. But what does that look like for your app? Is there an algorithm at play? Like, does success kind of make you more easily found, or is there really nothing like that?
On the contest, there's nothing like that in terms of searchability, right? When there's not a contest, if there's an artist that's being listened to, they can make it to that A-list, right? But on an actual contest, the goal is to eliminate any of those unfair advantages. Right. We don't want someone with more Instagram followers to be, to be automatically come in with an advantage. We want them to be able to face up with someone with 10 Instagram followers, for example, and people just to vote solely on the music. So in a contest, absolutely not. It's a very level playing field, and that's done on purpose. So that as an artist, you feel like, there's no way I'm at a disadvantage here. We're on social media. You most definitely are. But the one thing that we do make available is that you're able to post links to ask your friends to come vote for you and do things like that. So, I mean, that's at your disposal. And obviously people with, more of a following there, if they choose to tap into that, then, they're at an advantage. But the nice thing is people that don't generally know who these artists that they're voting for, mm-hmm. They're just voting on the music. And that's what we found. Our first contest winner, by no means was our most, quote unquote famous or, had the biggest following, but it was just someone that was really, really talented, that won over the fans. And that, when we saw that happen, because that was really our concern, are the most social media famous people going to win? Yeah. When we saw that wasn't the case in our testings, that's what we really got excited about is, hey, we think our contests are great equalizers in shutting out a lot of the issues that you see, on, SoundCloud promotions and Instagram, these Instagram pages where you can get a lot of likes from people that are really, really famous, mm-hmm. really quickly by posting in one of these groups or paying, and the algorithm automatically takes you to like a very searchable page. We don't have those pages. That you can become more searchable or anything like that. So I think just the simplicity of the app really, really equalizes the experience for artists big and small.
Love that. It's also got me thinking about American Idol, right? Some people get on stage. They might have a big following back home. They might be first-time singers. Sure. But what matters is how their voice or how their act is, and they get the vote of the Simon Cowells of the world. But now everybody's the Simon Cowell when they log onto your app.
I think that's beautifully put. That these forms of entertainment like American Idol, The Voice, they were definitely a great inspiration to us. Mm. We want to be in a way like these music franchises, like the Idol, The Voice, but the mobile version of them. And we want to be the premier brand where you go to us and you're going to find a plethora of different contests in different genres, and it's going to be that experience. But the thing about these shows you have to remember is that they're productions at the end of the day.
Right.
So there's a lot of time spent carefully selecting people that would look better on camera, all that sorts of things, those sorts of things that we don't like that. We want to equalize things again. So we want to create that experience of an idol, for exclusive events, for live performances, opening for a musician, but make that accessible to absolutely everybody. Everybody that's a good a good musician that really takes their craft seriously and, wants to compete and wants to get their music out there should be able to have the chance to do that. Not just the, 12 contestants that you see on a camera.
Dope. I love it, man. Well, SoundOff Music app, the great equalizer, coming for you, American Idol. All right.
That's absolutely right.
Let's check out a little bit of music while we take our break. All right, well, we tuned into a little bit of music that is getting major play on the SoundOff Music app. And I'm here, super curious a little bit about your background and how you got to the point that you're, on my podcast talking about this amazing app.
For sure. Yeah. Super happy to be here. Thanks for having me. I'm speaking on behalf of our whole team. So basically, so I was a student at Berkeley, and all our other co-founders are also Berkeley students. So there's 3 of us primarily. And we came together, just got a lot of inspiration from seeing how popular music franchises were, not just in the US, but around the world. This type of entertainment is probably the most consumed entertainment globally, where people are super interested in music discovery. And we think that there's a human phenomenon there, where you can create those experiences and people are very drawn to it, and obviously very drawn to music too. When you combine those 2 things, it creates super powerful and super engaging content. So we got a lot of inspiration from that, but we also studied a lot of the things that we saw that they were doing wrong. If you look at a lot of these music franchises like American Idol, you see a very limited representation of hip hop and EDM. Yeah. Those are our primary, segments. A millennial target audience, and also an audience that really, really loves EDM and hip hop. That's 2 genres that, although they have some of the most cultural influence, they're very misrepresented in a lot of these music franchises and a lot of the large scale content. So we wanted to bring it to a mobile platform and allow all genres to get equal representation, but highlight those 2 genres in particular and create a great equalizer in the music industry at a time where we see a lot of people getting overlooked just because of the sheer amount of content that is available online in streaming services. So I came together with my co-founder, and we kind of kicked this idea around, et cetera, and started ideating. And then once we started ideating, we designed kind of what the app looks like now, and continued progressing. And we ran into our other co-founder, who is a developer. We all have kind of had our way with design, but he's really developed a lot of the product and has been incredible. And the nice thing about us, so I'm Colombian. I was born in Colombia and half American. My other co-founder is Indian, and our other co-founder is Zambian. So we have a very nice mix. Nice. And a very diverse way of thinking, and also we're just diverse culturally. So once we started doing this, we reached out and we started pitching and kind of playing the field and seeing what people were interested in the app. We were lucky enough to find people in high places, basically, that really liked the app, really liked what we were doing. And, that's when we really booked our first event, this Akon and Pitbull event. And now a lot of our events are on the East Coast, on the East Coast area. You might notice that our advisors and the people helping us are in the East Coast, and they love the idea. They love they previously did events where they would have undiscovered musicians open, and once they saw the app, they instantly gravitated towards it. So that's basically, how we were able to put someone on stage for Akon and Pitbull. That was sort of a test and an experiment for, not just us, but also for like our advisors and our mentors that gave us that opportunity. And I think once we were all at the event and saw it come together and saw that artist absolutely blow everyone away, it was like the light bulb went off in both of our heads, 100%. At the same time for all of the founders, but also for our mentors. And they said, hey, that was awesome. We need more events. We need to run this back. We need to do this again. This is awesome. So now it's about, for us, contest pipeline, right? We want to get as many contests as possible so that these artists have as much opportunity as possible and have more and more contests to submit to. And we really take pride in, our inspiration is really seeing artists come back. Seeing artists not just use the app once for one contest, but seeing artists that we reach out to and that we want on the platform, build that relationship with us over time. There's artists that I've met with for coffee, for instance. I've asked them to submit, and we've met for coffee and just talked about their music. And I think we really want that hands-on approach, even at scale. We want to find ways to be able to give back to the artists that trust us with their music. And ultimately submit with contests, because we know music is a very personal thing, and we really respect artists that are coming on the platform and giving people access to their content.
Absolutely. Well, you touched on something, and that is just the balance of your time that I'm super curious about, and I think would really be something interesting to hear about from the musician's perspective. Because one thing that we do on the show is we've had publicists on here, we've had people that do mixing and mastering, we've had marketers, right? And it sounds like for you yourself, you are juggling a lot of balls. So you have to work with different events managers who are putting together these events that you can get opening slots for. You're sitting down having coffee with artists. You're probably, I don't know if you're a developer yourself, but you're, thinking about the user experience from the app perspective. You're doing all these different things, wearing a lot of hats along with your other founders. But, how do you balance your time and what takes up the majority of it?
Yeah. So I'd say it really divides into a few different categories. One is marketing and generally getting the word out, which, I'm by no means a master at, but I take a data-driven approach. So we're constantly getting better at that. The other side is the actual app itself. So, with building an app, the team has to do things like fixing little bugs, seeing what behaviors that we want to drive the user to do because we think it'll be beneficial to them, and seeing why, if they're not doing it, why they're not doing it. Is it a design flaw? So we're constantly redesigning things to make them more convenient. And we're doing that again via a data-driven approach. We're looking at the data and saying, how many people are clicking and clicking on this page, and how is that converting into this, et cetera, and tracking everything. So I'd say the majority of my time, kind of behind the scenes is spent looking at that type of data, studying it, discussing it with the team, and then testing, a ton of testing to make sure that this product, is everything we want it to be, and that it's easy to use, and that it's simpler and simpler and simpler, and beautiful. So testing is one, studying data. And then I think I leave a lot of time for just marketing the general product right now. And then, as much as we can, we're going out and we're meeting with these events managers, like you said, people running these events that have that 30-minute slot before their, headliner that they can give us, and us pitching our idea, pitching, the previous events that we did with Akon and Pitbull, and the events that we're going to be doing on the 12th of February for the Fashion Week event where someone can open for that DJ, pitching those events and seeing where we can kind of get our foot in the door.
I love that. And I just want to call out, that you're using a data-driven approach. There's so many numbers out there to analyze, right? But musicians aren't always leveraging that. And it's something that, we don't always have the full exposure to it. You touched on it a little bit with Spotify and, with Instagram, they give you data, but sometimes it's not that specific. However, there is a lot of great material out there just to look at in terms of, if you're running promotions, paid promotions on social media, are you even looking at where people are responding in terms of what region of the country or of the world? Same with Spotify, right? That you can kind of leverage and start to play with, hopefully to get some greater results. So I wanted to ask you that because I'm sure, and I was pretty sure that you thought about things in a different way than your average musician. And my big thing that I always harp on is, guys, you've got to have good quality music. That is a no-brainer, but there's so many different elements to actually becoming a successful musician that you have to consider.
Definitely.
The marketing, the publicity, the relationships, and so much more.
Definitely. No, that's a great point. I think what we noticed is one of the most important things in anything, and I think this speaks to music too, is quick feedback loops. You want to create as many quick feedback loops as you can so that you can constantly be iterating. And it's not iterating your music, but iterating your approach sometimes. So the thing that we wanted to do, for instance, is create a mechanism, which is our contest, where we can provide many different, a very quick feedback loop where an artist in the matter of one contest, which could be, a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks long, is receiving so much different feedback from round to round. Yeah. That they can quickly change their approach or quickly, figure out what's working. And I think that's the important thing. It's not just about general likes and general views, but at different points in time, they can see how the public's reacting in a way where you can't really do that if you're just studying like, my likes or my views went up. But here you can change different things in every contest that you submit to. It's low stakes in that it's free. You're not paying $15 or $20 a month for this stuff like you would other data. But because of the system of a contest being divided into rounds, people being able to favorite your music, there's a lot of different points where you can get quick feedback and iterate. And we think as an artist, in a place where, sometimes it feels like you can kind of be going in blind, getting quick feedback loops in an application like this is super important and will help you continue to succeed. As over time you see your artist score growing and you see that, hey, you know what, I'm getting closer and closer to winning these contests. I want to test out this sound. Okay, this new sound, I don't usually do this, but I'm going to submit it to this contest. And then you find that, hey, people are reacting really positively to this sound round by round. You have a lot of different points where you can track those feedback loops. So we think that we want to create this so that artists don't have to study the numbers. We don't want artists to become, data analysts. They make music and they're amazing at it. We want them to continue to do that, but we want to take that weight off their shoulders and provide very quick feedback loops so that, they can make really good decisions. And I think that starts from a, structural standpoint, how our contests are structured. All of that's been thought of. And then, how our contests have been structured really, and then how the design of the app and the layout of the app is.
It doesn't matter, right? If you have 45,000 followers and only 13 of them actually respond back when you ask a question. What do you like about this track? What's your favorite part of my new song? Whatever, right? That's not really a 45,000 follower feedback loop. So I love what you guys are doing. It seems like one of my favorite articles, 1,000 True Fans. This is a way to gain 1,000 true fans by using your app. So, I haven't used it yet, guys. I'm going to upload something now. I mean, I got to get off the phone with you so I can do it, bro.
Yeah, we need to get you on there for sure. And, let us know, shout out your stuff too. Shout out your music too, and we'll do the same.
For sure. Yeah, you just convinced me. Super inspired by your passion and the energy and just the creativity behind this app. So, for all my listeners, check out the show notes down below. You're going to be able to find a link there to the App Store where you can get the app as well as these guys' Instagram. But where else can they find you and, maybe find out about you? And also, what should they be looking forward to in the future from you guys?
For sure. So they can find out about us on our Instagram at SoundOff Music app. They can also reach out via email to me at Morris, Morris, at soundoff.com. So we all have, emails that they can reach out if they have questions on what to do, if they have questions on, uploading, etc. they're welcome to DM us on our Instagram or reach out personally as well. And I would say be on the lookout for these 2 contests. They're starting in a few days, so make sure to get your songs in and submit to the contest before they start. And be looking forward and checking the app for more contests and for feedback on how many people are adding you to their favorites list, how many people are voting for your music, etc.
Dope. Morris, it's been great having you.
Man, I appreciate it so much. Thank you.
All right. Well, hey, we just had an amazing conversation with one of the founders, a co-founder for the SoundOff Music app. And I hope that conversation was enlightening and was exciting. Not only do I want you to go check out the app itself, sign up, get an account, I'm about to do that. But what I want you to do is just start to think differently as a musician and a creator. Yes, people out there like the SoundOff Music app are in your corner and they want you to succeed. They're developing technology. They're developing platforms that can get your name and brand out there. But you also got to think like a business owner yourself in order to elevate, escalate, and be a standout artist. So start to listen to these shows, just like the one you just heard, and think creatively, think differently. Get yourself out there and think outside of the box so that you can stand out. There was a lot of good conversation in this show that I hope that you can apply. And I would be really interested to hear what you do with not only this episode, but any of the episodes that you've listened to so far. We're about 35 episodes in. Hit subscribe if you're listening to us on iTunes, on the Apple Podcast platform. Hit follow if you're on Spotify. Getting our name out there gets more valuable information to the people that need to hear this stuff. All of my musicians out there, start to adopt a slightly more market-friendly mindset and you will go much farther. All right, with that, let's hear one more song from some people that have been blowing it up on the SoundOff Music app. You can find their information down there in the show notes. And I will see y'all next week. Peace.